Go like this. Got it. How many of y'all, I'm sure you all have already seen it, but Capo's video of the unedited version of the Douglas Preston and Forrest Fenn clip. I'm not even calling it, that's not even a clip, it's a whole video. A long ass video, like what, 48 minutes maybe? I watched all of it. I watched it in between the times when I wasn't on the phone with my girlfriend. But anyways, that's beside the point. That's a moot point. But I think the one thing we should focus on is the one clue or hint, whatever you want to call it. Douglas Preston said that was a new clue / hint that was never spoken about before. And I think that one hint, because he never really talked about the backyard when he was discussing like the backyard and front yard, when he was discussing like the roundabouts, or whatever you call it, for like the legal laws, and when he hired that lawyer, and he discussed with the lawyer about what the legal laws were and what was legal and what was not, and what the rules were for each type of land. And he mentions a house or a home a lot, and it seems very awkward. And I'm not gonna say awkward. I'm not gonna say. I'm not gonna use the word awkward. The better word would be like, it's very ironic. He has nuggets that are from Alaska, and he has all these things. And one article that I found, I'm not even calling an article, but I'm gonna call it more of a, I guess, interview with Forrest Fenn via a blog or something like that. It was on a blog or something like that. And it said, if you're not the lead dog, the scenery never changes, and how the treasure is in the mountains or in the deserts, or in the desert of I think New Mexico, or not, it wasn't New Mexico. I have to go back and look at it. But he talks about the mountains in the desert. Huh? If it was Wyoming, why is it discussed as a desert? Makes you think it was sand, right? So for those who y'all who saw my video from, what was it, last night? I think it was, maybe of me screen sharing the place. Think about it, the backyard of that Harold McCracken house, and then I'm labeled as McCracken house, has a sandy area, and it looks like it's wooded off with like some type of like tree bark, or like the whole stump itself, not a stump, but you know what I mean, not just the stump, but like the whole bark of the tree, you know what I mean? There's like a whole bunch of them like glued together and make a fence, you know what I mean? Kind of fenced off area with like tree remnants or remains or whatever you want to call it. And it's like, and it's just it's really weird, because Harold McCracken went on trips to Alaska, and he hunted Alaskan grizzly bears. And Forrest Fenn always says, he always stated, like, it's wintertime and the grizzly bears are hungry. Makes you think, right? He has Alaskan gold nugget. He had Alaskan gold nuggets in the treasure chest, and this what really got me thinking. I also watched from the clip. He said, "There's one thing left for the finder," and everyone always wondered. And I think that one thing was to confirm that the finder knew what the true story was behind that one certain specific of item or whatever it was. And I think those items that were put together, hint, 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 that is easy. Yeah, that's easy. Anyways, there's two items, or that one item, I guess you can say, was the dragged fly. The thing that was in the bag were the rusty scissors that nobody really knew the meaning behind. And I think that was the one thing he left for the finder, because he wanted the finder to actually interpret and tell Forrest, well, yeah, this is what the thing is, and this is what it means. That's what Forrest wanted the finder to do. But of course, as we all know, Jack Stoop doesn't know what the hell the scissors were for. He just thinks it was to cut the paper towel. And that is false. That is false. And I say that because in that same blog/article about the desert and the mountains, Forrest Fenn speaks about leaving a trail behind, and how in his case it was a dragged fly from his back cast that got stuck in his back cast. Makes you think. He said it. He told the people what the thing was, but very subtly. And he said it like, oh, here comes the damn dog. Oh, hell, I should have been my stuff. Here comes the dog. She's gonna try to harass me for my food. I don't know where she is. This dog. Where is he? She's harassing me for my food. She can get something. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. Anyways, yeah, the thing Jack Stoop didn't know what the meaning was behind it, because honestly, I think they used to stock that pond for fish, and they just used to put the fish in there that weren't large enough to cook up and eat. You know? And I think him and his father created the pond for the sake of stocking the fish in there. After like fishing on the off, in the Shoshone River, or like on the Madison River, all that good stuff, Sometimes they fish there, they would take the fish back to their fishing hole at the pond, aka the pond. And in that pond, like I said, they would stock the fish in there that weren't large enough to go up and eat. Because the ones that were big enough to eat, they would put in mud and they would cook them up. And I don't remember where the hell it was. Maybe it was just a dream in my head, maybe. Because I would dream about some weird stuff. Not like as in like something that's really, really weird. It's just like something that's really weird for the sake of like, because I mean, it could be dream, but I swore up and down that there was this one video of Forrest Fenn in an interview. Oh, I see she's jumping up and down now. We can put this camera. There you go. See, she popped up on the tip because she thinks she's not getting nothing. But anyways, I was like, yeah, not even know what it was. A fishing hole. I don't know, it's talking to me off. But yeah, like I was saying, they put the fish up and put them in mud. And I definitely think McCracken was an influence on Forrest Fenn collections. Sorry, I had to eat my food quick before the dog tried to jump up again. He's jumping up my table now, see? But I was also going to say some stuff real quick. She's on the table, see? That's what you get when you try to be nice to a dog. And try to feed it some treats. Right, Izzy? See? Bad dog. Anyways. Spending his family's trips from the Buffalo Bill Center of the West Museum to Yellowstone, when they visited the museum. I go see. And I think Forrest Fenn always had an interest for collection from, that was the possessions of the Remington collection. You know what I'm saying? The ammo, the guns, the paintings. I think it was more so the paintings. Just in general, I think that's what got Fenn or influenced Fenn one to go into the army because he enjoyed all the weapons and artillery stuff for the military. And then he was like, I guess one day he was like, well, let me try flying this plane. That he talks about with the control pad. For the sergeant made him try for training camp, or what do you want to call it? Whereas that sergeant told him, that was the best he's seen anyone ever fly that thing. And so, from there, I grew into an interest for the Air Force, and I think that's also, like I said, where Fenn got his influence for. And also, he had the foundry, but I think originally the original influence was, of course, McCracken, and mainly typically Remington, with all the paintings and stuff like that. I think he wanted to learn how to paint, but then he realized, I'm better at forging bronze stuff. Is that what it was? Yeah, bronze foundry stuff. He realized he was better at than paintings. And he did paintings, but I think all the paintings that he ever owned were from Eric Sloane and other painters that paint, But I think mainly he typically enjoyed himself with building statues from bronze. And so, because he always enjoyed Yellowstone. He was umbilically attached to the museum. Like cancer and overdose on pain pills because you have cancer. Very close to the museum that was close to you where you can get lost at and read your books or whatever books you wanted to read. I think he enjoyed reading at his special spot when he was a child. And I think later he grew from there. It was just like a hobby for him from, with reading, art, casting bronze statues, and then I think from a PTSD standpoint, need a way to get your mind off of that. So you can grew into paintings and art, and cast bronze statues. To his pot shop, that's why he tells the story all the time about throwing his pot shop because he wasn't going to live that life no more, and he wanted to create a new life with himself and his lifestyle, and create with the love of his life, which was Peggy Jean Proctor. And later became Peggy Fenn. So he always wanted to die somewhere that was within the limits or reach of Peggy. So, and as Jeff Stoop kind of depicted it, he wanted to die in the arms of Pepe, which, for those who didn't know, the Condor 2 posted a GIF, or yeah, that's what we call it, GIF, a GIF of SpongeBob dying in someone's arms, forget whose arms, but it was like on a beachy area it was like on the shore of water area, where there was beach, or it's not a beach, but sand, beach slash sand with water, it was like at the tide area. And so I think that was Jack Stoof, because Underwood 2 is 100% Jack Stoof on Reddit. And Jack Stoof was trying to pick that place of where Forrest Fenn wanted to die. And I think him saying Cody, or Forrest Fenn saying something about the Buffalo Bills into the West Museum was definitely an indirect hint to Wyoming. And Jack Stoof was like, oh shoot. So he did some more research and found that maybe McCracken, or Harold McCracken, was the first owner. And he was like, oh yeah. And then I guess in 2018 is when he realized McCracken had the house left of the Buffalo Bill statue, which is like northwest of the museum, or at the north side of the museum, like past the Cody Regional Health place. And you go on left towards that place. So you got the Regional Health here, you go past it, you got the statue. And there's a roundabout you gotta go. So from this statue, you gotta go all the way to like diagonally the other side of the statue and go off the beaten path. And it's like on Monument Street over there in Cody. It was off of Monument Street in Cody. And I think it was the old place that the Remington House was before they built the mansion for all the Remington House items, for like the furniture and that stuff, So, and then of course, yes, Harold McCracken took it over, and it was I don't want to say giving away the Remington furniture stuff, like paintings and all that stuff, but he gave it away to Remington's daughter or something like that, because the daughter outlived Remington, like way outlived Remington. And so the daughter pretty much like gave it away, the Remington stuff, before she died, to friends, because she wanted the Remington's friends, and Harold McCracken happened to be a friend of Remington. So of course, McCracken got some stuff of Remington's, So all that stuff was later put into the Buffalo Center of the West Museum, and the Remington, oh no, what was it? It was the Cody Firearm Museum. That's where later was put into all that Remington stuff in the whatchamacallit place where, for those who didn't see, where my brother was opening all those gun safes, or what do you call it, the pull-out drawers of the guns, of all the guns that were in that. Because you got the firearm museum, and then there's like a stairwell that goes down into the land of nowhere, which is where all the where they studied about the Remington stuff, kind of similar to the McCracken Library, which is, and you go down the staircase within the Buffalo Bill Museum, and it leads you down to the McCracken Library. I didn't really go into the Plains. Actually, I did go into the Plains Indian Museum. That was pretty cool too. Then you had the whatchamacallit too, the Draper Natural History Museum. I think that was where Fenn was leading all of us to, the Draper National History Museum. Because I think that was his favorite museum, because it's all about Yellowstone and stuff like that. Yellowstone fire, and they had a exhibit. I'm gonna call it a fake exhibit. I call it a fake exhibit for a reason, because it was of two archaeologists uncovering like dinosaur bones. And it was a depiction of it, pretty much, of, I guess, McCracken or someone, I forget, I don't remember who, but two white folks uncovering the dinosaur bones, and they depicted it, with people, and they had maybe plastic bones sitting in the dirt. So it was pretty cool, you know. And the rest of the stuff was all about Yellowstone and the wolves and the animal habitats of Yellowstone. Pretty much, it was pretty cool. And they on the very bottom, like at the when I say the very bottom, I mean like they had a flooring that was tiled, and it was a whole depiction of Wyoming. You know, that included the Yellowstone region too. It was pretty dope. I wish if I could find that picture. My mom sent it to me. She sent, or she took one or two pictures of me standing on top of it, or next to Cody, and on the tiled floor of the depiction of Wyoming, BLM, Bureau of Land Management map of Wyoming, which was awesome. It was really cool. But yes, I definitely would advise those who haven't been to the museum to definitely check it out. It's like $150 for 2 days, and it's definitely worth $150 for 2 days because it will literally take you 2 days to go through the whole thing and read every little sentence from the whatchamacallit, you know what I mean, you know what I mean, like the text of what's happening and all that whole 9 yards. You know what I mean? So it takes you whole 2 days to go through all the exhibits and the readings of what everything is. You know what I mean? So yeah, it will definitely take you 2 days to go through all of that, literally. And I will say this: they do actually have, and this is the cool part. I think Fenn actually donated this. Fenn always talked about the Sitting Bull peace pipe. That is actually hidden. I had to go through it was like, I don't know what it was, but it was like a circular area that was there was a circle thing in the center. You had to go around on the right side, almost like a roundabout type of deal. And you'll see it. It's in a glass case. You really cannot miss it. You can't miss it. If you miss it, after me just telling you where it's in the Plains Indian Museum, 100%. And you got the Whitney Art Museum. That's pretty cool. And with one of the 5 exhibits is McCracken's bear that he killed and shot and killed. It's a big, massive grizzly. I don't remember seeing it exactly because we only got one day to go to the museum because of my whole sickness. Give me a second. I don't know why it's doing. I don't know where it came from. But yeah, like I said, it would definitely take you 2 days to go through the whole museum entirely. I would love to go back to Cody to go through that museum one last time, and then also visit Forest Fenn's special place. And I originally thought the Shark Cabin was Forest Fenn's special spot, but I feel like I said in my first or second video when I came back to North Carolina from Cody, the Shark Cabin wasn't it. Which I'm gonna get a heralding from both Candy and Lucky Digger, and also what's her name? Skeleton Ghost. I hear it from all 3 of them. Because all 3 of them told me it's not gonna be at the Shark Cabin. I said, well, going off Google Maps, it does look like it, but like I said on those 2 videos, Google Earth is a whole different story than boots on the ground. Boots on the ground, you're looking at it, you're going, this is not the same thing. So yeah, everyone has their own interpretation of the poem, but And I don't believe it was the McCracken house. Because I think he might have accidentally bought that property or something. You know what I mean? So, anyways, y'all take